Fiddlesticks, the immobile low-range jungler with no escapes, has been dominating top lane. This is Cabex, a Grandmaster player that picks only Fiddlesticks top and even reached Challenger, shooting up to an insane rank when he'd never even played this champion before in the jungle. How is it possible that this champion can play in such a long lane? I asked him about his strategy to find out and realized that Fiddle top is actually a pretty good top laner, fearing, silencing and refusing to take any damage from the enemy, and using his healing to prevent enemies from killing or even diving him. Then he starts taking over teamfights with his insane damage and coming up with new tricks to extend fear range of his ult. With some of the best ults I have ever seen, game changing and game winning plays this guy pulls out of nowhere. He surprises Grandmaster and even Challenger players. This is Cabex, the new solo queue terror. But first, let me introduce you to the sponsor of this video, which is no one. So please consider subscribing, liking or leaving a comment on this video so I can keep making this content. Back to our player Cabex. His start wasn't a success story. He started playing Darius Tryndamere top lane in season 2 and stayed bronze for 4 years until season 5 when he reached silver. By season 7, Cabex reached platinum, playing Vladimir top, and he kept improving with this pick, reaching diamond in season 8 and 9. But he was getting tired of top lane and wanted to try something new. So he started playing AD carry, reaching master and becoming surprisingly good AD carry player, even people calling him out for scripting with this popular clip where he was playing with Zap. So how did this AD carry main become a Fiddlesticks top god? He remembered he saw a Twitter post about Fiddle mid lane. Having no previous experience with Fiddlesticks, he created a new account playing Fiddle mid lane only, and it went great. He very quickly reached low masters, but he became hard stuck in this lane as he couldn't match the skill and champions in this lane. So he decided to try swapping back to top lane to avoid these issues, and in just one day he went from Masters 400 LP to Grandmaster 713 LP. According to him, Fiddlesticks top lane is 10 times stronger than mid and jungle. So why is he playing Fiddlesticks top? When compared to the jungle where Fiddlesticks is weak to invades, suffers from poor early game matchups, and struggles in 1v1 duels, the top lane effectively solves all these issues. The early game becomes significantly safer because he can sustain by draining minions. Furthermore, laning opponents are much easier to take down with poke or completely avoid using his fear mechanic. Beyond safety, top lane offers a higher gold income and more experience than the jungle. This allows Fiddlesticks to scale much faster, transforming him into a powerhouse teamfighter whose ultimate deals massive damage. Far from being a troll pick, he is surprisingly dominant in the laning phase while remaining an elite threat in late game skirmishes. So from level 1 all the way to level 20, this pig has a lot it can do. Level 1, our player starts the game with Doran's Ring and 2 potions. From here, our player can start with any ability depending on the matchup. However, W is generally the best option, since aggressive level 1 laners know about the possibility of Fiddlesticks starting Q, so they do not even try engaging, which makes W the best starting choice. Once you reach level 2, your short rays become incredibly oppressive. Opponents often end up feared and out of range, unable to trade back any damage. The layout of the top lane is another advantage, as the free lane bushes allow Fiddlesticks to constantly proc his passive, which fears from the fog of war. By utilizing the bushes rather than trading in the open, you maximize your crowd control potential. This playstyle is extremely frustrating to play against and is a key reason why Fiddlesticks can be more effective in the top lane than in mid. At level 3, he allows the wave to push towards him. The objective is to keep the minion wave frozen just in front of your tower. Fiddlesticks is the blue dot holding the line in that specific area to maintain maximum safety and pressure. This setup is essentially a checkmate for Fiddlesticks. With access to both fear and silence, the enemy cannot trade effectively. Furthermore, you can force a permanent freeze by tanking minion damage with your W, healing through the wave to keep it perfectly positioned outside your tower range. Any damage the enemy deals is quickly negated by your massive sustain. A crucial mechanic to remember is that the W cooldown is refunded by 60% if the target walks out of its range before the channel finishes. Opponents who don't understand this mechanic might try to outplay the ability by stepping out and back in, but this actually benefits you by lowering your cooldown. Around this time, your wave should slow push towards the enemy, creating a minion advantage to win any 1v1 duel if they dare to step up. Fiddlesticks can even execute tower dives against strong early game champions. By using your poke to lower their health and stacking a large wave, you can set up an easy kill. At level 6, this threat increases as you can use your ultimate over this wall to initiate a dive with an immediate fear effect. At this stage, enemies must play with extreme caution. Simply walking into a bush creates immense pressure. The mere threat of an Fiddle ult makes opponents to give up farm and stay far back from the wave. Once he unlocks his sweeper, he ensures he isn't being watched from the bushes. This allows him to break enemy freezes, zone them away, or catch them off guard with an ultimate for a solo kill. In difficult matchups where a solo kill isn't possible, he still finds advantages by roaming. Even in high elo games against players like Nemesis, he pulls up a well-timed roam to mid lane. Sweeping for vision and ulting over a wall can result in an easy kill. He always takes flash and ignite, since that helps you to finish enemies with your full combo. You still get TP later to play macro across the map. The early game is focused on resource accumulation, since Fiddlesticks struggles to sideline if he falls behind. Securing high CS, kills and tower plates is essential for a strong mid-game transition. In the mid-game, his goal is to contest objectives using his ultimate. However, success requires planning. He checks objective timers 90 seconds in advance and communicates his intention to fight with his team. He secures the push control early and waits. This isn't about luck, it's about careful execution. He stresses that patience is the single most important skill for a Fiddlesticks player. He might find himself waiting in a bush for a full minute while minions die nearby, just to find the perfect opening for a game-changing ultimate. Ideally, he tries to stay within experience range so he doesn't fall behind while waiting. The map is full of prime ultimate locations. For mid lane, he can jump defensively from the raptor camp or aggressively from the side bushes and lane fog. He always uses an effigy to clear wards beforehand to ensure his ultimate triggers the passive fear effect. There are secret ultimate spots that are nearly impossible for enemies to predict. For instance, he doesn't have to be right against the wall to jump it. If the center of the ultimate indicator is more than halfway across the terrain, Fiddlesticks will successfully cross. This allows him to cast from deep inside bushes for maximum surprise. To maximize impact, he uses two specific tricks. The first is the E spam. While channeling R, he immediately spams his E on the target location to instantly silence and fear everyone he lands on. By aiming the cursor where the enemies will be and instantly casting the silence upon arrival, he effectively extends the fear range and prevents any chance of escape. However, the second trick can be even more devastating and deals higher damage. He can further extend the fear range by using the W flash trick. He spams the W button during the animation channel and immediately upon landing uses flash. This game-changing maneuver can instantly win a fight at a major objective. This mechanic is difficult and requires practice in the training tool. The E version is much more forgiving. The most effective ultimates are those where the enemy has no idea the player is nearby, often catching them when they overextend to regain map control. A sudden crown storm can instantly ace the enemy team. However, it's important to understand the build's weaknesses. In some cases, even after securing early solo kills against champions like Jax, things can still go wrong for him. Even if the mid-game starts well with successful picks, Fiddlesticks can struggle if the enemy refuses to group for objectives and instead focuses on picking off isolated players. If the player's teammates fall behind and the composition lacks a front line, such as a squishy, low CC bot lane like Xayah and Senna, it becomes very difficult to find openings. In these scenarios, it's nearly impossible for the team to move forward. Fiddlesticks thrives with a proper front line and a teamfight oriented composition. He cannot carry a collapsing team alone and is himself vulnerable to being called out. Despite his niche weaknesses, Fiddlesticks Top remains one of the strongest off-meta picks for solo queue, largely because opponents are unprepared for it. The player has provided detailed strategies for every matchup on the top lane. Matchups against Malphite, Tryndamere and Jax are surprisingly easy, whereas Riven, Zahin or Mordekaiser are extremely difficult matchups. Olaf is the player's absolute hardest counter and remains the permaban every game. For the full build, he starts Doran-Ring and you wanna rush Realize as it unlocks so much more potential in the champ and makes it way more consistent. You follow it up with Liandry's if enemy stacks HP and Bloodletter's Curse if enemy has a bunch of MR. The one which you buy first depends on the enemy comp as previously mentioned. After that, it's all situational. If you need more damage, then you can go for Shadow Flame. If you already have enough of it, then Frozen Heart or Zonias plus Abyssal Masks are your great options. One tip is that he uses Banshee's Veil to prevent being revealed during TF's ultimate. He rounds out the build with Rabadon's Death Cap or Morellonomicon as a cost-effective option if he's struggling for gold. For runes, Aerie with Axiom Arcanist, Absolute Focus and Scorch is his standard choice. In the secondary tree he goes Sudden Impact with Ultimate Hunter for more damage and shorter ultimate cooldown, or Bone Plating with Revisualize for easier laning phase. For mid lane, he recommends banning Syndra and focusing on roaming with the jungler to influence the map. Fiddlesticks excels in 2v2 and 3v3 skirmishes once he has his ultimate, using the same core build and runes. This playstyle proves that with the right planning and patience, the player makes Fiddlesticks Top a formidable force in the current meta. Cabex has a Twitch which is very active and YouTube with lots of Fiddlesticks clips. Link to both are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks HappyChimeNoises for a huge inspiration to create this video.